Come on, Patterson.
Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Wednesday.
You forgot what day it was.
I did forget what day it was, yeah. It's been a long week already. As always, if you are watching, do pop a hello in the comments. Eric.
Stop doing that.
Eric. Hello. Are you washing your feet? Are you washing your feet? Going to tell everyone what a good boy you were yesterday. Went out to a garden centre. He was very good. Had some breakfast there. He was very good. Sat patiently, didn't you, in the cafe?
Yes, you did.
You're a good boy. He's tailgate most of the rest of the time, but good morning. Oh, he's singing. He's singing. Good morning, Jane. Good morning, Maria. Welcome to Wednesday. Hurrah for Wednesdays. Wednesday's supposed to be the most productive day of the week, apparently. Or something like that. Morning, Hannah. Good morning, Jay. What are you squeaking for? Eh?
Because he can.
Because he can, yeah. Yesterday I decided, because it was such a warm day yesterday, and we've had so much sun, I decided we could talk about sun magic today, and it's cloudy. I think I jinxed it. Good morning, Helen. Good morning, Karen. Oh, and he's gone. Bye. He's gone to see if there's any sunshine, I think. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Janet. Hannah not feeling productive. No, I can't say I am really. Good morning, Lani. No, Pete and I are on holiday for a few days. Staycation. Doing garden centres, actually, pretty much so far.
I can't see a problem with that.
Good morning, Deb. Yes, half term. Our teenager is still in bed, but he did go volunteering yesterday at Roman Fishbourne Palace, bless him. So on his half term holiday. Good morning, Sue. Jane must have had a sprinkling of rain last night. The path plastered with snails. Ooh. We have a snail.
We haven't had rain for 3 or 4 weeks.
We haven't had rain, but we do have snails. Although, to be fair, I haven't seen any particularly because it has been too warm. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Claire. Morning from a cold and wet South Africa. No sun here. Luckily, that is unusual for us. It sounds unusual. Surprising. Good morning, Helen. On half term. Good morning, Colin. Colder today in Clonelly. Yeah, it does feel a bit colder today. According to the temperature thing, it's not, but I think the wind.
Temperature thing.
You know, the forecast, that's the one. Something like that. I'm a little befuddled at the moment. Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Emma. Yeah, Eric, I think, has gone out to see if he can find some sunshine. Hannah, garden centres are taught you when you have zero money. Yeah.
No, just steal stuff.
Tell people
you're allowed to steal plants. It's
You're
nice.
not allowed to steal plants.
Oh, okay.
We bought a Stepia gigantica this week. I doubt we'd have snuck that one out.
No.
Good morning, Lizzie. I hope you feel better soon, Lizzie. Good morning, Kayla. Good morning, Susan from sunny, windy West Sussex. Yes, we were down Chichester way yesterday.
Chichester.
And it was windy. Deb, snails love my hostas. Yeah, we couldn't have hostas. They would be demolished. Good evening, Sephora. Last day of autumn winter approaches tomorrow because Sephora's over in New Zealand, other side of the planet. Good morning, Debbie. Alex says drizzly day in Northampton today. That's not so good. We're on holiday this week. Staycation. It needs to stay nice. I think that's it. Caught up with them all. Colin says, oh, good morning, Eve. Colin says we had Precious has gone out. She's been coming in late, about 9 p.m. naughty girl. Oh, I hope she's up to no good. No, I hope she's not up to no good. Got that the wrong way around, didn't I? Jane said we had hostas for 5 minutes, then we had doilies. Yeah, we couldn't have them. The snails and the slugs love their garden. So, good morning, Kerry. Good morning. So, I'll start off with, because it's getting close. Good morning, Heather. Saturday, 10th of June, 7 p.m. UK time, Gods and Goddesses online book launch in the same usual places on the YouTube channel and on this Facebook channel.
Book number
Book number, how many?
24.
24. It's that one.
Yeah.
Gods and Goddesses. Yeah, do join me for an online chat. I'll be talking about the Gods and Goddesses of England, and there will be a book giveaway too. Da, 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 da.
Not one of those, one of my old ones, but
One of
James
your
Bond
old,
books.
one of your old James Bond books.
Yeah. Not one of yours.
Yeah, no. Put the kettle on. What you like?
I'm just doing it.
Just because he's on holiday, not working. So yes, do join me. Saturday, 10th of June. We'll have a chat about the English Gods and Goddesses. And book giveaway too. Lani, exciting day for us. Daughter is getting her prom dress taken in today. Wow, time flies, doesn't it? Time flies. I remember Emma's prom dress. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We didn't have proms in my day. We had discos. I think I had a new Rara skirt and new leg warmers, something like that. I still have a fab time, Lani. Sephora, that's why Pete's so perky. Holiday Pete. Oh, he's always perky. Sephora, he's always cheerful. No matter what time of the day or day of the week or day of the year, he's always cheerful. Colin's got his coffee. I'll have mine soon, hopefully. Good morning, Kerry. So I did think today, and Jane, I will talk about hedge riding, hopefully next week. I need to
Eric is in full sunshine.
Get myself organised for that. Eric is sunbathing. There you go. Good morning, Trudy. So yes, because we've had quite a lot of sunshine in England, my little part of England, I thought sun magic would be a good subject. So do you work with the sun? I know most of us are familiar with working with the moon, and I work with the moon a lot, written a couple of books about it. Actually, you can see it there, look, beneath the moon, big one. And a smaller moon magic one as well, because I think moon magic is kind of a key part of us witches, isn't it? We do tend to work in tune with the moon. I probably work with the sun just as much as I do with the moon, particularly if I'm working spells during the day, and because I'm out in the garden a lot, so it kind of makes sense to me. So I work with solar magic probably just as much as I work with moon magic. So good morning, little Miss Nemo. I think it has equal power to the moon. There are differences, which we'll cover. But do you work with the sun? Do you involve solar magic within your spell working, within your daily routines, within your practice? Jane says hedge riding, can't wait. I hope it's not a prickly one. Well, that all depends. No, I'm not very organised this week, so I need to get my head around that one. We'll talk about that next week, hopefully. But sun magic is something that I work with on a very regular basis. Perhaps because I am a little bit impatient. No, surely not. When you bring in the phases of the moon to your spell working, to your magic, you have to wait 28 days. The moon goes through its different phases over a 28 point something day period. So if you want a new moon, it's only sort of once a month kind of thing. If you want the phases of the sun, they're all in one day. You have the waxing, you have the full, you have the waning, all in that 124-hour period. So I like to bring in the phases of the sun for that, because you can do, if you think this morning, I need to do a spell today, and the moon phase is wrong, you can work it throughout the day with the sun phase. But there are different energies as well. The sun definitely has different energies to the moon. But you can work any type of spell. Any type of spell that you'd work with the moon, you can work with the sun. So that's my question. Do you work with sun magic? How do you work with sun magic? If you're happy to share what you do, how you work with it, we'll see where it takes us. Good morning, Angela from gloriously sunny France. Yeah, the sun is breaking through the clouds this morning. So let's get going. Hannah, I think I accidentally started working with the sun, as I seem to have a lot of sun symbolism in my house. Only noticed this recently. I guess because it's something that we see it every day, don't we? Don't necessarily see the moon every day, but the sun is always there. Even if it's covered by clouds, the sun is always there. Yeah, perhaps we do more than we think. Sephora, know the science bit, KPI index and solar flares and cycles, not really au fait with sun magic. Oh, you have so much exciting stuff to look forward to working with, Sephora. You can open up all of this stuff. Obviously, I wrote a book on sun magic because, I write books on everything, really. I need to drink some. I'm preparing myself.
Your latte, my lady.
Thank you very much. Ooh, frothy.
They call me frothy.
That's the washing up liquid in it.
Yeah.
All right, little Miss Nemo. My main only sun work is cleansing crystals when I've forgotten to use the full moon, or gardening, as you say. I don't tend to think about eclipses because my little brain can't hold it all in. No, eclipses are a different thing. The phases of the sun, forget eclipses and all of the fancy stuff. Let's start with the basics. So you have the different phases of the sun throughout one day. So if you want to work a spell for new beginnings, for putting something into action, just as you would a new moon or a waxing moon, sunrise. Work that spell from sunrise up to lunchtime, really. Up to mid-morning, up to your coffee break, for new projects, new planning, for growth of things, for prosperity, for bringing things to you. Work from sunrise up to lunchtime. It's the waxing phase of the sun, and it brings just the same amount of energy as the new or the waxing moon does. Midday, high noon, which always sounds like a cowboy thing, is your full moon. But it's with the sun, so it's the solar energy. Midday is when the sun is at its highest and at its most powerful. You can use that energy to work any type of magic that you want to. It brings a full-on solar power. Then from lunchtime to tea time in the mid-afternoon, because we're in Britain, so you have tea time. From lunchtime to tea time, you've got the waning. So if you want to release things, let go of things, if you want to rid yourself of bad habits, negative energy, work your spells with the sun from lunchtime in the afternoon, because that's when the sun's starting to go down. If you really want to say goodbye to stuff, you really want to let go of stuff, work your magic at sunset when the sun disappears down. All those phases that you are familiar with for the moon happen all in one day with the sun. I can't put your blanket on you because you walked away with it. There he is, look. You're handsome. We met a Dachshund puppy yesterday, didn't we? You weren't impressed with him. Let's get some of these. Debbie, I watched the sunrise to draw in its energy for the day. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Solar energy is so powerful. This is Eric having his blanket put on. Thanks, Dad. Emma, I work with the sun, with the early morning, being young, born up until an elderly man going through the transition of death. I like that analogy, Emma. That's brilliant. I do like that very much. Maria, not normally. I just find it a miracle how it can even magically appear in my basement garden. It's clever. It's clever. Colin, more often covered by clouds. We have been lucky last week with the sun. We have, but even if it's cloudy, the sun is still there. It would be dark if the sun wasn't there. So the sun is still there and you can still work with the power of it. Jane says, sun magic works better than varnish. It makes tomato sauce stains disappear. So I tried putting ketchup on a white leather cushion that my niece scribbled biro on. Put it in strong sunlight and the ink and ketchup disappear completely. Wow. There you go. Top tip. That's magic. It is magic. Kerry, I have a tendency to work more with the sun in the spring and summer. I usually charge crystals up when the sun is out. Yeah, I guess it is more seasonal, isn't it? If you can feel the power of the sun, then you're more likely to work with it, I guess. Crystals is a good one. They were mentioned before as well. I don't put all of my crystals out in the moon to cleanse and charge. I sort them out. So some go under the moon, some go under the sun. It makes no sense to me to put a moonstone out under the sun or a sunstone out under the moon. So I sort the crystals out. So all of the white, the pale ones, the blue ones, green ones go out under the moon to charge. All of the red, the orange, the yellow ones go out under the sun to charge. It just seems to make sense to me. Just be mindful that the sun can fade some of the crystals, particularly things like citrine and amethyst. Little Miss Nemo, been a gloriously sunny week last week. Yesterday started to go a bit cloudy. Today the sun has buggered off. Yes, that's because we're on holiday.
No, it's come out now.
Has it?
Yeah.
We did have a very nice walk out in the sun yesterday too. That was a little bit too warm for you, wasn't it? So we have to be careful of the doggies in the sun. Good morning, Karen. Minding all 4 grandbabies today. Wowzer. No wonder you've got earphones in. Fun though. Good morning, Kerry. Good morning, Kat. Angela, if I want to give a powerful boost, some fire, heat, or a big energy boost, I'll use the midday sun. It's got that real energy, power. It's creative. It's fire. So it gives anything a boost because it's got that fiery energy to it. Yeah, perfect. It's for a panic when it goes quiet. Whenever children go quiet or dogs. Yeah. Jane, hopefully today I'll be inspired to finish my sun magic homework. Been stuck for months. Maybe this is the prompt you need, Jane. The sun is shining. Time to work. Perfect time to work with it. Debbie, I watch sunset, thank the sun for its energy throughout the day and say good night. Very nice. Karen likes to work with sunrises and sunsets. They are in between times, aren't they? Sunrises, sunsets are those liminal times. They are the spaces where they're just in between. Those times are particularly magical and particularly powerful. Lani loves to work with crystals. Kelsey Breeze. Yeah, that's your thing, lovey, isn't it? That's your thing. Miss Nemo, yes, of course, told you. Little brain can't remember even that fundamental. Now veg patch in, must try to incorporate day phases when I'm tending. Oh, yeah, if you're working in the garden, then, yeah, you can. It's interesting. One of the things that we do ask our students to do is to go outside at different times of the day and just feel the energy. Now, you all know I'm big on connection, big on connecting with the energy of the day, connecting with the energy of the land that you live on. If you go out, all you need to do is step into your back garden or step outside your front door. Or even if you're unable to move too much, open your window. Go out at different times of the day and just feel that energy. Just connect with that energy. It will tell you what type of magic you can work at that time of the day. There will be different types of energy. If you go out first thing in the morning, if you go out at lunchtime, if you go out at tea time. See, I'm marking all of these phases by food times, which works for me. If you go out different times of the day, you will feel the different energies. I don't think you notice that quite so much during the night. During the day, there are definite different phases. You can feel those different types of energy just in one day. Just step outside and make that connection. Harry says, sometimes the sun rises far too early. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. But if you want to work with new projects, new beginnings, building new things, just work from breakfast. Just do it at breakfast time instead. That energy of the sun waxes. The minute that the sun rises above that horizon, it's a waxing energy right up until lunchtime. You've got plenty of time to work with. Jane, I love the azure sky at dusk. I just stare at it. Oh, it's Mother Nature, isn't it? The sunsets, and when they're all the pinky, orangey colours. Amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Angela, if I have an element that needs setting alight, like incense, etc., I will use a magnifying glass very carefully and the midday sun to light it. That is such a fabulous thing to do. I learned to do that as a child. The two boys that lived next door to my gran were very, very bad influence and taught me how to use a magnifying glass to burn things. And it stayed with me. But it is, you can work some fantastic sun magic spells by using a magnifying glass and directing the sun on. You can write a petition on a piece of paper and then use a magnifying glass to set the sun onto the petition to set light to it. Obviously, be careful doing that. Do it in safe surroundings. But that's an amazing thing to do. Lani, I have been buzzing with sun energy this week, getting lots of jobs done. It has been productive and cleansing. Fantastic. Yeah, I draw on the power of that. And the sun brings that real oomph, get up and go type of energy to it. Definitely. That's definitely part of it. Sephora, our summer sun is very strong in New Zealand. I bet. We get up early to beat the burn to work in the garden in the morning. By afternoon, it's retreat time until evening. Our gardening, even over here, our gardening efforts have been done in the evenings the past week because it's too warm. Debbie, I think I must be part lizard. I need the sun's heat to get my body going. Oh, yeah. I don't like sitting out in it much. Fades the tattoos. I am definitely an autumn-winter person. But I love working with the energy of the sun. Sun magic is amazing. Karen, autumn and winter sunrises are particularly stunning. Just Mother Nature just doing her thing. She's amazing. Emma, I had written my connections to the sun in a book. In a book I can't find. Oh no, blame the house ghosts and not me for losing it. You obviously don't need it at the moment, Emma. That's what it's all about. Obviously don't need it. Charlie, if you want to work with the sun and it's cloudy and grey like today, will it bring that energy? Absolutely. Is it better to wait for a sunny day? No. The sun is there. No matter whether there are clouds in the sky, the sun is there and it will be just as strong as ever. You might struggle a bit to work with the magnifying glass type thing if you can't actually get the rays of the sun. But no, the same as the moon. We work with the different phases of the moon. Even if it's so cloudy we can't see the moon, the sun is the same. That energy is still there. It's still there for us to work with it. Sephora, sunrise in a winter frost makes the world look like it's covered in diamonds. Very, very nice description. Kerry, would doing candle magic in the hours of the sun be amplified as it's using the fire element? Very nice connection there. Very nice connection. Yes, absolutely. Be mindful of keeping candles out in a sunny place though, because they melt. As I know when we used to have our old conservatory and I had some candles out there and they all kind of keeled over. Yes, absolutely. You're bringing in the element of fire with the sun and you're bringing in the element of fire with candle magic. That would be brilliant. Absolutely. Jane, I used to do paper rounds. Oh, me too. Very, very long time ago. Saw the sunrise every Friday morning. Too tired to get up there early now. Yeah, I did a paper round. Whereas in my late teens, I lived on a farm. So we would get up with the sun, 4 o'clock. Yeah, not now. Used to get up and feed the pigs. Yeah, not now. Yeah, it does. The sunrise on the snow or frost looks amazing. Oh, nice idea, Debbie. If it's cloudy, just imagine being above them. Nice. Helen, interestingly, I find I've worked more with the energy of the sun since the menopause. It's almost like my body needs that type of energy boost. Oh, yeah, I can understand that completely. Absolutely. The sun has that physical type of boost of energy. Absolutely. Maria, autumn's still my favourite. Yeah, me too, Maria. And winter sunrises are so invigorating, coupled with the freshness in the air. Yes, you don't have to get up so early. Sephora, we have a little bird called a fantail, and when flying with the sun behind them, it looks like fairies sparkling in the sky. Do birds have a connection with sun magic? Birds for me are pretty much all air element, but there are some that do fall more in the fire category. Some, like the birds of prey, I think fall more into the fire element. Things like eagles and hawks, they have an air element to them. The sky for me is sylphs as well, so that's air element. But just if you feel it, go with it. Absolutely. Colin, precious being Colin's cat, gets up with the sun and then climbs over him mid to get me up. Yeah. Little Miss Nemo, linking back to the last week's meditation topic, I like to sit in the late spring sunshine in the morning to do spinning. Nice. Combination of time, season, mind is calming with a sense of growth. Lovely. Sephora, nothing like a hot flush on a hot day, turbocharged. Yeah. Menopause is rubbish. Kerry, would the energy of the phoenix be connected with the sun? Absolutely, 100 million %. Yes, the phoenix is very much a sun. I want to say bird because it is a bird, but I don't necessarily put it in bird category. I put that in the mythological creature category. Mythological with, just because other people don't believe it. Yes, energy of the phoenix would definitely be with the sun. Hannah, I think I'm more drawn to the sun now because I garden and because I feel I need a strong male presence since losing my father. Big hugs to you, Hannah. But actually, you've mentioned something that we haven't sort of spoken to, and we have spoken about, and we ought to. And that's the good old masculine, feminine energies. I was taught right back in the Stone Age when I started learning witchcraft that the moon was feminine and the sun was masculine. I have stuck with that 30 odd years later. I'm still working with that because it works for me, because it feels right for me. For me, the moon is powerful, but nurturing. She deals with emotions. She deals with mental issues and spiritual issues. She's very much the mother figure for me, and all of the mothering type energies. The sun for me feels masculine. It's strength, it's power. And I know we've talked about this when we talked about feminine, masculine energies before. The moon is also very powerful, and the moon can be strong too. But for me, the sun is a very masculine, He-Man, superhero, girl type energy. It covers those masculine type energies. It works for me. In a lot of the myths, you will find that the sun is masculine and the moon is feminine. There are, as far as I'm aware, more moon goddesses than there are moon gods. There are more sun gods than there are sun goddesses, generally. Some of the myths describe them as husband and wife, the sun and the moon. Some of the myths describe them as brother and sister chasing each other across the sky. My only formal complaint is that the sun god tends to get a chariot, a gold chariot, whereas the moon goddess doesn't get one. I want the gold chariot, just saying. It gets to be zipped across the sky in a gold chariot generally. But the stories and the myths say that they're chasing each other and never catching up. However, in some of the myths, they are the other way around, and the sun is feminine, and the sun is feminine, and the moon is masculine. I think it's your choice. If you feel that the energies are one way or the other, then go with it. If you feel that the energies are both or neither, go with it. As far as I'm concerned, there's no right or wrong. You have to work with it in a way that works for you. It's personal choice, absolutely personal choice. Debbie, stay up all night and greet the sun as it rises. Oh, back in the day. Back in the day, young farmers' summer dances where we'd stay up all night and have bacon sandwiches still in their ball gowns first thing in the morning when the sun came up. Not these days.
I don't wear ball gowns anymore.
You don't wear ball gowns?
No.
That's probably best. Little Miss Nemo, kingfisher equals water, wouldn't it? Yeah. Game birds who are ground nesters being earth. Yeah. There's generally, as a rule, birds come under air. However, some of them will come under air and something else. Some of them will come under specific elements. There's generalizations. There are lists. I've written a book about animal magic. There are some birds in there. But it has to work for you. We're back to it has to work for you. If you associate it with that element, then go for it. But yes, that makes absolute sense to me. Kingfishers, herons, seagulls, all watery elements. Maria, I suppose birds work with the sun with their dawn chorus and activities during the day. Yeah, because then there's not many birds that are out and about at night, is it? And also at sunset, so they are air, but the other energy is sun. There are lots of things that have the different elements in them. So yeah, absolutely. Kerry, is dragon magic sun energy? We're just going through my list of books. Dragon Magic. The cover for Dragon Magic has been done. It is amazing. Anyway, yes. Technically, as a whole, dragons, I think, come under fire energy. I have written a little bit about them in my fire element book because I think as a group, dragons come under fire, so they come under sun generally. But dragons carry a lot of elemental energy and a lot of elemental power. So there are you will find that dragons often are associated with a particular element. Air dragons, water dragons, depending on this whole sea serpent thing, they're all connected very much with water. But as a whole, dragons are fire and sun energy, but you can break them down into the different elements. If any of them, that made sense. Jane, the sun has its dangerous aspects. Aside from starting fires, it's very hard to ride a bike in late winter morning sun because it has strobing effect through the bare trees, branches and twigs. Very tempting to cycle with your eyes shut, but not what. Well, yes, when you're driving car and the glare of the sun is right in your eyes, it's very dangerous. The sun and the fire element do have that destructive side. Fire destroys. It can level things, but once you've had that complete destruction, you have a clean slate and you can start again. It is the whole phoenix analogy, that it bursts into flames, disintegrates into ashes, but then it's reborn again. And that's what fire does, and sun carries some of that as well. It is destruction, but to have rebirth, to have a new clean fresh start, you need to put that destruction in place first. So it does work in a cycle, and is that cycle of destruction, rebirth, renewal kind of thing. But yes, and it does have that powerful destructive side to it, but sometimes that's needed. It's just being mindful, I think, of all sides to it. Jane, interesting point. Very hard to see the moon as masculine when it's so closely linked to menstruation. It's interesting, isn't it? And the moon does control all the big bodies of water. And you do find generally that your cycles will fall in sync with the moon phases. It happens. It does happen. So yeah, absolutely. Heather says you'd look good in a ball gown.
Yes, of course.
Just saying.
That wouldn't be the first time, I'm sure.
Zephora, spent a lot of my misspent youth greeting the sun being married to a surfer. There is nothing more spectacular. Yeah, I don't know about misspent youth, Zephora. It all builds on your experiences, doesn't it? Debbie, loved listening to our blackbirds and robins at sunset and sunrise and sunset. Yes, the bird song. When I get up first thing and I go into a bathroom, the window's open so you can hear all of the bird song, even if it's sort of 4 o'clock in the morning, you can hear them. Fantastic sound. Karen, I had a dream about water dragons in orange water. It was a bit odd. Interesting. Dreams, whole other subject, obviously. The question is what it means to you. Yeah, Angela. Peter works with a lot with dragon magic, feels they cover many energies and elements. Absolutely, they do. Yes, and I have written about that in the book. Yeah, they are. I think the dragons draw in a lot of elemental magic, but you can usually associate each different type, each different species with a particular element. Yeah, they do. They cover all of it. Debbie, fire destruction is rebirth. Absolutely. You have to have that destruction. You have to have that complete burnout to have the restart. Definitely. Colin, the winter sun is low in the sky and can be a pain when driving. Yeah, we got caught with it yesterday, actually, the summer sun, because it was right in our eyes when we're driving. It can be a bit blinding. Angela, destructive, cleansing, then reincarnating. Absolutely. Colin, Ron Weasley's style of ball gown. It was unique, that's for sure. Little Miss Nemo, for he is like a refiner's fire from Handel's Messiah. Always include a feeling of this when I'm calling in the quarters. Wonderful. I think when you're calling in any of the elements, you have to feel it. That's the same with all kinds of magic. You can read a spell. You can read a ritual from a script. If you're just reading it, it's just words. You have to feel this stuff. When you're drawing on the power of the sun, you have to feel the energy of the sun. When you're drawing on the power of the moon, you have to feel the energy of the moon. When you are calling in the quarters to ritual, you have to feel those elements and their characteristics coming in. When you're working with your spell, you have to put your intent, your visualization, your energy into it to make it work. Because otherwise you're just reading words. You can. There's a tradition of drawing down the moon. Where you allow the moon's energy and the moon goddess to enter you physically, spiritually, emotionally. You can do exactly the same with the sun. You can draw down the sun's energy. It's a very, very powerful experience. I do write about it in the Sun Magic book, actually. It's definitely worth experiencing. Oh, we've got... Jane dreamt about fish in orange water last night. What's with the orange water is the question. Angela, I was a midwife in the UK and the birth rates went up at new moon as well as full moon and solar eclipses, less so on lunar eclipses. The planets, they play a big part. They play a big part. Emma, I have an air dragon that always says fire is destructive, especially when met with air. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Be careful with what you use fire coupled with air for. Fire can't exist without air. It needs air to breathe, to flame. So put air and fire together and fire does what fire does. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, sorry, going out of order. Sephora, we have the... Thank you for putting it phonetically. Tana Fey, which is, I guess, our New Zealand version of a dragon. They can live in water and deep, dark hollows. There's lots of... when I wrote the Dragon Magic book, I went down a completely big rabbit hole, or perhaps I should say knocker hole. It's a type of dragon. There are so many varieties and types of dragon. That's another talk, though. There's another talk. You'll find dragons across the globe. And yeah, a lot of them are associated with water. Hannah, and I associate different times of the sun with elements and directions. Yeah, that works. That works. You can do the same with the different moon phases, but that works absolutely with the directions of the sun. Yeah, I like that. Nice. Colin's watching the Harry Potter films on Netflix. We've watched them recently from start to finish. It's funny watching them grow from small little children up to adults. Kat, we have been so fortunate earlier this year to be able to see the Northern Lights. Oh, fantastic. It was amazing to work some sun magic at this time, even though it was very spontaneous, as the aurora is very unpredictable. What do you think about the sun's energy connected to the aurora? Do you know, it's one of those magical planetary nature sciencey things, that I think it probably has an energy all of its own. I think you'd have to be there to be able to connect and feel and work with the magic. It's a little bit like when you have an eclipse. An eclipse brings a completely different energy to everything. When there's an eclipse, to me, it's like a reset button. An eclipse brings the whole turn the computer off, turn it back on again. It's like a complete reset of everything. An eclipse brings the energy that slots everything back into a place where it should be. Not necessarily where you want things to be, but where they should be. So for me, an eclipse is a reset button. So something like the aurora, which is just a magical phenomenon, I think would probably bring something very, very special with it. But I think you've probably got to be there and to connect with it. I've not actually ever seen it in person, so I think you'd have to be there to connect with it. Rainbows. You get rainbows with the sun when it's been raining and the sun. That's a whole other area of magic that brings its own special, unique magic with it. All of these different phenomenon, I think, bring their own special magic. Jane, fire and earth can be a dodgy combination. My husband's Taurus and I'm Sagittarius, and he can't seem to stop himself dumping earth on my fire. I think that's just people, isn't it? But yeah, you can see that because earth will put fire out, won't it? Yeah, I can see that. We all have different elements. That's another conversation as well, isn't it? That's another chat subject. We all have usually one overriding element as our personality. And it might be your star sign, sun sign, whatever you want to call it, zodiac sign. It might be a rising zodiac sign. It might be the job you do. It might be the way that you live. All of these things bring a different element of ours to the forefront. It's always interesting to look and see what elements you are strongest in and whether they need a bit of balancing about. But yeah, absolutely. Earth would put fire out. Kerry, I get irritable when the sun is at its strongest, so must be the male energy. Be arguing with it. For me, it's balance. I do like balance. Maybe I'm old school because my original training was in Wicca. But I think for me, I like to have the balance of the god and the goddess. I like to have the balance of male and feminine energies. I don't have the traditional layout of my altars anymore. I don't, goddess on the left, gods on the right, the whole balance of elements and everything. I do with my altars. You can see behind me that side. I have Balanos. I have the Kalak. Got the Kalak again. I have Balanos again. Actually, that's quite balanced, isn't it? No, I've got the triple mothers, the three mothers there. Three mothers energy as well. Got a bit of Roman stuff going on behind it. It's a bit eclectic. But I do like the balance. If I'm in ritual, I like to call a goddess and a god. I like the balance of that energy. Not all the time. But for me, it works. But it doesn't necessarily work for everybody. So it has to be how you think about it. Savora, the Greeks had a lot of myths about the sun. Read the Northern Lights. You can predict it if you watch the sun KPI index and level of solar flare. Interesting. Oh, the Greek myths. Some of those make your head explode. They certainly did have interesting myths. Little Miss Nemo. Suppose the biggest sun magic working is trying to, the Wheel of the Year, because you're working with thinking about the seasonal shift of the sun's energy. There's a book on that too, which for every season covers that and more. I do work with the Wheel of the Year as a base. It is ruled by the sun's transition through the year. So it is sun magic. I fell off the wheel a long while ago, but I kind of found my way back to it in a fashion. I mean, it's evident. We've got people on this chat here, lovely people from across the globe. So as an example, there's little me in England and Sephora's in New Zealand. Our seasons are completely opposite. So for poor old Sephora, the Wheel of the Year as it stands doesn't really work with her time scale. The Wheel of the Year was designed, as we know it, is a modern invention from the 70s. It does draw on some older aspects, but it was designed in England. So it's designed for our climate. It's designed for our seasons. And actually, our seasons have changed even from the 70s. So I think for me, the Wheel of the Year is a brilliant structure. It is to follow the seasonal shift of the sun's energies. But I think you have to put your own spin on it. We're back to connection, back to my favorite, connecting with the energies of the day, connecting with the energies of the land around you. The Wheel of the Year has to work for you. And I think you should tweak it. I think you should tweak it to work with the energies where you are. It is about watching what's happening in nature. So that's a really good way of working with it. But Mother Nature doesn't follow dates on a calendar, let alone dates on the Wheel of the Year. So I think it needs adapting and tweaking to where you are to make that Wheel of the Year work for you. Hannah, has anyone used a sundial in a magical working? I have one in the garden. It is an excellent place to leave spells to do their working. I've not actually used it at the timing, I see what you mean with the sundial, and actually at the times that would work brilliantly. It's brilliant to leave things on the sundial to do for the sun energy to boost it. But yeah, working it in at the right times on the sundial. This is me doing the sundial. Would be brilliant. Excellent idea, Hannah. Excellent. Debbie, the Aurora Borealis is amazing. Yes, Mother Nature doing her thing. Maria, can we have a chat on elementals? Don't really know much about them. There's a lesson on them, Maria. There is a lesson on them. But yeah, elementals would be a good chat too, wouldn't it? Maria, the Kalak is still holding her apron strings in the chilly wind. Yeah, she's hanging on quite a long time this year, isn't she? She's usually gone by now. Sephora, there must be quite a few herbs associated with sun magic. Marigolds, calendula. Oh, there are. I'm going to get the book out. Let me find it. Oh, look, it's right at the front. That wasn't intentional. I didn't plan that. There are lots of, and cinnamon, anything fiery like that is associated with it as well. Lots of different things. Let's have a look. Bay leaves. They are fiery. Buttercups, carnations, chamomile, chrysanthemums, eucalyptus. That's one. Frankincense. Juniper, lovage, marigolds, myrrh, oaks, peonies, they're flowering at the moment. Rowan, that's flowering at the moment. Rue, that's flowering at the moment. St. John's wort, sunflowers, witch hazel, lots of different ones. Yes, absolutely. And again, these are only the associations that these are plants, ingredients, herbs, whatever they might be, are associated to some. It does date back quite a few hundred years, the doctrine of signatures. But if it doesn't work for you, trust your intuition. If you don't feel a marigold is right for the sun, or if you feel that a different plant that's not necessarily a sun plant, go with it. Trust your intuition. Always trust your intuition. Debbie, eclectic is good. Whatever works and feels right for you personally. Oh, that's our mantra. Trust your intuition and go with what works for you. Charlie, can you use the sun for mental health, i.e. depression, anxiety? What would be a simple way to do this? Oh, yeah. I want to use the term sunbathing, but I don't mean sunbathing in the traditional get your bikini on, slap on the suntan and take a sun lounge. Don't do that. But being in the sun, even if you sit in the shade, but being outside in that warmth can be very, very good for you. There is a whole lot on depression and anxiety from my Curative Magic book, Charlie, but there are some excerpts from it, some spells, some meditations on my personal blog and on the Kitchen Witch blog. So do have a look. there are some there, and I think I did a talk about it as well. So have a look on my YouTube channel as well. And it's all taken from the Curative Magic book, because you can work magic to help with that. But the sun, absolutely. It's that warmth from it. It's that power and that energy, just absorbing that sun energy to help. Hang in there. Hang in there. But yeah, do have a look, because there are some bits from Curative Magic on my blog, Kitchen Witch blog, and on the YouTube channel. So do have a search for it. Jane, the Wheel of the Year isn't easy to celebrate when you're a solitary witch. Some things really need to be social. I think it depends how you work with it, doesn't it? The Wheel of the Year is good for group celebrations. But I think for me as well, and I do write about it in A Witch for Every Season. There's been a lot of book adverts this talk. Sorry about that. For me, the Sabbats, the 8 points on the Wheel of the Year, are not just one date. So we've got the summer solstice coming up. It's 21st of June. It's slightly different each year. It's not just one day for me. That's a period of time. So actually, I'd probably be thinking about working with the energies of the summer solstice from about now. You've got to feel it. Has to be you and how you feel. So the Sabbat is a period of time. It is several weeks. If you work with it fully, you can get each Sabbat to run into the next one. They're about every 6 weeks. So you'd have 3 weeks build up to the actual Sabbat, and then 3 weeks wind down from the Sabbat. You work with the energy of that Sabbat over a period of about 6 weeks, but it has to work for you. It has to be right for your area. It has to be right for what nature's doing where you are. So it is about tapping into the energy of that Sabbat, rather than just celebrating on the one day. It's not so easy as a solitary witch. If you want to do something like a ritual, you can. And there are rituals on the Kitchen Witch blog that help you doing solitary rituals. But we're back to connection again. It's about connecting with the energy of that season, I think. But there are lots of online things as well now, obviously, rituals and things that people run. So it does make it a bit easier. But I understand where you're coming from there, Jane. We're here. You're not alone. Kat, totally. I have the Aurora Alert app, and it goes off with a pretty little chime, and it's time to rush out in the hope you might see it. We're quite far down, so it's been very unusual to see it with the naked eye, but the solar flare has been super large lately. Perfect. Just amazing. Yeah, it's Mother Nature the best. The solar flares would be good to time with your sun magic. Absolutely. Indeed, Maria, I didn't cover foods, did I? Let's have a look at food. Spices, yes. Chilies, definitely sun magic. Definitely sun magic. I'm looking at this one, by the way. There's lots happening on the book front. I'm just, lots of projects I'm working on at the moment. Lots of projects. Lots of exciting stuff. Foods ruled by the sun: cinnamon, corn, dates, grapefruit, limes, olives, oranges, pineapples, rice, rosemary, saffron. Nice saffron curry last night. Sesame, and tea. Your good old cup of tea. That's a sun magic. Your black tea, good old cup of tea. That's sun magic. Walnuts and red wine. Just in case you fancied a tipple. Yeah, definitely, Maria. Fiery element, isn't it? Colin. Today is the last day of meteorological spring. Again, it's calendar dates, isn't it? So it's got to feel right for you. But I must admit, for me, it does feel like it's right. A bit overcast today, but it does feel like it's arrived. So yeah, it's got to work for the area that you are in. It's the Kalak. Probably still got a few rocks in there, wondering who to chuck them at. Yeah, her apron's still full, I think. Trudy, that's how I tend to work with spells, with both you have mentioned, especially with sun magic. It's got to work for you. It has got to work with you for you. Heather, with the way weather has changed and changes each year, individual wheel work is easier done on how energy feels rather than date on calendar. Yeah, there's a reason, my friends. The date helps when planning group rituals gathering. Absolutely. Absolutely, it does. We have done a lot of Sabbath rituals, online ones, as Kitchen Witch, some of them written by the lovely Heather. You will find them on our YouTube, on the Kitchen Witch YouTube channel. You'll find recordings of them, and on the Kitchen Witch blog. So if you want to follow along one of the previous ones we've done, hop onto the Kitchen Witch YouTube channel. If you want to look at a script of one to work to do yourself as a solitary, have a look at the Kitchen Witch blog. There will be lots and lots of them on there. We're actually looking at changing the way that we do online rituals within the Kitchen Witch gang. We have a cunning plan. It doesn't involve turnips, but we have a cunning plan so that we can encompass everyone. Because we have a lot of lovely people now from Australia and New Zealand as part of the Kitchen Witch Coven, it's very difficult. We're doing a summer solstice ritual and they're in winter solstice. So we're looking at how we're changing the rituals. There will still be online rituals. In fact, there's going to be more online rituals. So keep an eye out. But yes, it's got to work with you. It's got to work with the area that you're in. Lani, I do suffer with depression. Have found that sometimes just sitting in the sun, taking in the energy, not lots, just a bit of the sun, brings positivity, which helps a great deal. I think the sun does what the moon doesn't, for me, doesn't bring that happiness type of energy. The sun, you can sit there and soak up the energy, and it does cheer you up, definitely. Trudy, I made a clay sun, painted it gold and pressed dried summer flowers into it for my altar. Very nice, very nice. Very good idea. You could do that with salt dough as well. That would work. Only because I've worked with air dry clay and it gets very messy. Debbie, sunlight is absorbed through the eyes, helps with vitamin D and serotonin, both good for mood. Yes, serotonin is the stuff that you want. Vitamin D is very important, and it's the sun that provides that. Emma, when I'm anxious, I use the sun energy. I find fire helps to calm some people down. Use a candle and watch the flame. Breathe and calm. Sit in the sun for afterwards to replenish my energies. Perfect. Thank you for that, Emma. Sephora, as a gardener, the winter and summer solstice is quite linked. Oh, absolutely. I think perhaps as a gardener, you get a different perspective on nature and the seasons, and it is a very good way of connecting. Lani, just started reading some magic. Finally getting some time to read with it being half term. Enjoy. Jane, Samhain is probably the best spoke on the wheel for solitaries because it takes us out shopping for sweeties, then making the house a magnet for the local kids. And of course, Yule is a great social time, but most of the participants aren't witches. Yeah, that's the way it goes, isn't it? It does. It does. Little Miss Nemo, Sabbath period and blending makes absolute sense. Yes. For me, the easiest to be submerged in is right now with May blossom giving way to elderflower. My elderflower is flowering in the garden. Heather, my elderflower is flowering. I think Heather gave me a little baby elderflower from her mother, Elder, and it is flowering. Heady Sense, lark song, first fruit swelling. Oh, our garden is full to bursting at the moment. And we're not even in June yet. So Mother Nature doing its thing. Jane, parsnip wine looks like liquid sunshine and has a high falling down factor. So it's about lazy sunny days. I like parsnips. Sure about parsnip wine. My dad used to make homemade wine. It was always fairly lethal. Sephora, the sun runs in a 12-year cycle. Now the science is available. I wonder if there will be an adaptation within the witchcraft community. I think science and magic go hand in hand very much. And I also think that witchcraft is fluid. I think there are a lot of old ways, and some of the old ways are fantastic, and I do work with them a lot. I like traditional witchcraft now. That's the way my pathway's gone. Folk magic, I draw on a lot as well. But I think witchcraft also does need to move with the times. So I do work magic with my mobile phone now. We're working magic literally here now as a community online. So it all has to be adaptable, I think. Yes. Yeah, cunning plans should involve turnips, really, shouldn't they? Jane, getting outside gives us a boost because it provides us with negative ions to balance out the bombardment of positive ions from all the electronic things indoors. So it's getting outside, isn't it? The fresh air, the energy, the nature, the science, all goes hand in hand. All goes hand in hand. Good morning, girl. Angela, try to go without sunglasses as much as I can, as they prevent the absorption required for the production of serotonin and vitamin D. Did not know that. Just be careful. Never look at the sun directly. You don't need to be told that. You lot, do you? No. So that's kind of a real, roller coaster of sun magic. It is an amazing energy to work with. If you have a look on my personal blog, there are some excerpts from the Sun Magic book as well, with ideas and just general info and stuff. It is amazing to work with, and also a different energy from the moon. But for those of you not patient, it gives you all those phases in one day. So definitely worth a try. So thank you everyone for joining me this week. I will be back next week. Don't forget my online book launch, 10th of June. Is it a Sunday? I think it's a Sunday. 10th of June, anyway. Oh, hello. Hang on. Let's get that. Hello. It's a waggy tail. Some other ideas for topics as well this week. So thank you very much for that.
10th of June is a Saturday.
10th of June is Saturday. Sorry, that's me being boring. So yes, do join me for the online book launch. Eric knows he's going out. 10th of June is Saturday. Thank you, Karen. And I will see you next week as well. Thank you, everyone, and take care and have a fun time in the sun. Bye.